India continues to witness citizens' discontent and protests over the Citizenship Amendment Act and the NRC. What started at the Northeast has rapidly spread across the country. Hundreds of arrests and detentions have been made, and at least 20 have been killed in violent protests in Uttar Pradesh itself. Several reports claim the police force's high-handedness in these protests. Meanwhile, there's also CCTV visuals of protesters pelting stones and indulging in violent acts. Prominent activists, historians, political leaders have also been detained who took to the streets to protest against what they call to be a draconian legislation. It's been over a week that actor Sadaf Jafar is also have been in jail after she was arrested while capturing videos of the protests taking place in Lucknow as part of the anti-CAA protest. Sadaf is a prominent social activist, an actor and a teacher. Noted filmmaker Mira Nair, who cast Sadaf in the upcoming 6-part series A Suitable Boy, has demanded her release. Joining me now is Mira Nair, the filmmaker. She needs no introduction. She comes today on ET Now on the Times Network to make an appeal on behalf of Sadaf. Mira, you've been talking and you've been tweeting about how Sadaf went to Lucknow to protest. Some of us have seen that Facebook live as well. Do you now know where she is? You also believe that she needs medical attention, which she's not getting.
Yes, I mean, it is an absolutely deplorable and inhuman situation. Sadaf Jafar is a product of a country that got its independence through civil disobedience. And we were all taught in schools that unjust laws should be opposed. And Sadaf Jafar is an absolutely peace-loving young single mother, a teacher, and actually just became an actor because I happened to cast her in my new film, A Suitable Boy. And, on December 19th was arrested. In fact, caught on video telling other people on the streets not to be violent, not to throw stones. We have that even as evidence to her pacifist nature. And yet she was hauled away on the 19th of December and is in a jail outside Lucknow. It takes a day from Lucknow to find her in a freezing jail as she was being beaten by male police on her back. She's bleeding internally. And she's, you can't, she has no mattress, she has a little raggedy blanket, and she's allowed absolutely no medicine. And there's no movement on her, despite the fact that, we are speaking for her, actors have gotten together, I've spoken to whoever I know at the highest of levels, and not many people have those connections as we do for Sadaf. But no matter what we do, there is it's like the lawyer said, they've locked her up and they've thrown away the key. And that is just plain inhumane. She deserves to be at least taken to hospital and to be treated for the blows that they inflicted on her, but nothing is happening. The courts are now closed, and we are being told that nothing will happen until January 3rd. She's a single mother, as I said, of 2 very young children who are alone and who have not seen their mother over the holidays and who don't know when they will see her, as we don't know. And it is just unconscionable, because citizens have a right to protest, especially have a right to protest peacefully the laws that we consider unjust. What do you expect a citizen to do when faced with laws like this? And when she is opposed to this country's and the legacy that we have all carried within us of speaking out. But what we are faced with, I just want to appeal really to the powers that be to let Sadaf Jafar at least get into a hospital and be getting some medical assistance for something that is, I think, appalling and absolutely unjust.
Mira Nair, you yourself said that you at least have access which a lot of people don't have, and your access so far still has not helped Sadaf. Having said that, have you been able to make? You said it's, as the lawyer said, they've locked the key and thrown it away. Has Sadaf's family been able to reach her? How do you know that she needs medical attention, for example?
Her sister has been able to see her the day after she was arrested, where her sister brought all the documents that they were asking for to her. It took a day, she said, to even get to the jail, which was a day outside Lucknow. This is all from her sister, who says that she has been beaten by male police with batons on her back. She is completely aching and bleeding internally. She is not allowed even a tube of ointment or a blanket. She's sitting on a cold stone floor without, and Lucknow is freezing. We shot the entire Suitable Boy there, and I know how cold it can get. And her children have not been able to see her. A cousin is seeing her a day ago. That is all. We have, very important and respected lawyer looking after her case, but she's basically been slapped on with all kinds of charges, including sabotage and violence and all kinds of things that none of which they have any evidence for. In fact, we have evidence completely to the contrary, that she was asking people to not be violent, to protest peacefully, and so on. We have that evidence on video. Um, but this is how we know what is going on with her.
And Mira Nair, what about the bail hearing? Do you want to share that with the viewers of ET now? Has Sadaf's case come up for bail as yet?
She has to, the way we understand it is that there are two courts, the lower court and the sessions court. And the lower court has rejected her bail about 5 days ago, which was extremely disheartening, because on purely humanitarian grounds, they should have at least let her be taken to a hospital. That was denied. What we are being told is that she will now, it's only January 3rd that the courts will open, and that she has to be then brought to the courts at that time. But that is still, almost a week away from now, and that's, it's just inhuman. It's just inhuman. And as I said before, we have connections. We are trying to do anything we can, from lawyers to ministers to whoever we can reach to, for her humanitarian plea to please bring her at least to a hospital. But there are hundreds of others who have no one to speak for them. And we can only imagine really what must be going on in the jails in UP.
Yeah, just extrapolate that, because we at the start of this interview talked about the hundreds that are detained across the country, and here's Mira Nair making an appeal about how one person from her filming of The Suitable Boy has been detained, not getting medical attention, and here is Mira Nair with all of her access and a great legal team, unable to help Sadaf. That just explains to you how the situation is on ground. And Mira, let's also not forget the internet blackout, which also took place. So, since you're familiar with this one case, if I could also ask you that, given the blackouts that you've had with the internet, just finding Sadaf itself must have been very, very difficult.
It's very difficult. I mean, as I said, just one member, and now perhaps two, have seen her since December 19th, and they cannot bring anything to her, not a blanket, not a tube of ointment, not a mattress, nothing. She is denied anything. And yet she stands strong, and she really appeals to everyone to remain peaceful, to oppose the CAA, the bills, she's an extraordinary person. But she's a young woman who's a school teacher and a single mother, and is hurt by police torture, not by anything else. And they have evidence to that fact. I mean, the feeling could be that they want her to heal so that there's no proof of her, the violence that has been brought against her. We don't know that, but the sort of deaf ear that has been turned to all of us begging for her release, and not really, I mean, just to get medical attention. It's a humanitarian plea. It's a basic human plea, um, is appalling and really disturbing and heartbreaking.
Mira, as I wrap up this conversation, I wanted to ask you, you said something at the start of the interview. You said that Sadaf is an actor only because you made her, you asked her to be in this movie. What did you mean by that?
Well, I love to cast people that I feel have the spirit of the role that I want them to play. And Sadaf came in as an actor, as a person who had not got much of a CV. She said she had dabbled in theater, but she had not made a film or anything like that. And I cast her in a role with one line, and then I just kept remembering her. And another role came up that was a very critical role of Bibo, the sort of maid servant of Saida Bai, who's played by the legendary Tabu, a woman who sort of runs this Haveli and runs the home, very sort of a mastermind of the establishment. And I thought maybe Sadaf could play it because she comes so much from the Lucknowi culture, and she just had a wit and a mischief and a liveliness about her that I really responded to. So I asked her to play this much larger role, and she jumped at it and was superb at it. And she thanked me on the 17th of December, saying that it was like the best experience of her life, and she was so overcome because she'd never seen herself like that. And on the 19th of December, she's was jailed, you know, for it, and she's a mild-mannered, extremely you know, she's a non-aggressive, extraordinarily like a young school teacher. She is not someone who is, you know, a firebrand of any kind that I know. And it was really a shock to all of us that made this film. And to all of us beyond that, that Sadaf is booked in jail and slapped with extraordinary charges that just seem almost laughable, except that they are true, in the sense that the charges are true, that she's been said that she's responsible for sabotage, for violence, for this, for that. I mean, none of which is true. And so, you know, it's really impossible for me to have a happy day, you know, finishing the film or bracing for the holidays, because I just think of Sadaf, I think of her children, I think of her children who've not seen their mother and don't know when they will see her, and for her in jail, you know, sort of bruising, completely internally bleeding, with not a single ray of sunshine in sight. And I really appeal to anyone who can help to make sure that the spotlight is on Sadaf Jafar and several others like her, so that she may at least be seen to in hospitals and so on, for the bruising that has been more than the bruising, for the torture really, the violence that has been inflicted on her, and amazingly by male policemen, you know, on the streets of Lucknow.
Mira Nair, you know, in the last couple of days, there has been public anger. A lot of questions have also been asked that where are the people that we normally look up to? You know, the famous Bollywood stars, the famous Bollywood actors, the sports people. Why aren't they coming out and trying to do something? And, you know, this is somebody from your set who decided to go protest, and now you don't know what's going to happen to her, as you were just pointing out. So you, in that sense, are brave. You're also being one of the few to come out and take the stance that you're doing and to make appeals on behalf of Sadaf and several like her across the country. Are you disappointed, though, that, you know, you've not seen other, and I hate to use the word influencers, join you?
Well, you know, on the one hand, yes, if I think about it, I, I guess I would expect that people would stand up. All our actors are with me. Tabu is with me, Ishan Khattar, all these wonderful actors who were with us in the making of Suitable Boy, all have stood up for Sadaf in a very real and vocal way. But what is actually on the other side of it is the inspiration I feel from the students of India, from the streets, from the people who have risen above political parties, who just have taken to the streets to voice their deep, you know, protest at the destruction of the secular India that we, you know, got our freedom for. That's inspiring. But I'm not here to sort of comment on what people, you know, choose to do with their influence and their freedom. I just know what I can do, and I just cannot rest for 1 minute, really, not for 1 minute, when I think of Sadaf Jafar. And when I think of hundreds like her, seriously, who are beyond help, who are just rotting there in a prison for things that they were raised in India to do, which is to raise our voice against things that we consider unconscionable. In this case, the defeat, the sort of destruction of secularism in front of our eyes, the India we know, the India we love, and the India we fought for.